Well, thank you all so much for coming. First of all, I like to ask people, is this anyone's first time with Cape Fear River Watch? Any first timers? Awesome. I'm really glad to see some new faces here. Well, Happy New Year. I'm really glad you're starting your new year off with us at Cape Fear River Watch. If you're unfamiliar with our organization, we're an environmental nonprofit, and our focus is improving the water quality of the Cape Fear River for all people. We do that through a couple of different avenues. We do education like this. This is a free monthly seminar we do every single month with no charge, and I'm sure some of you enjoyed those delicious free pancakes as well, made by our board members and volunteers. Thank you. And that's one of our avenues. We do public education to tell you why the river is important and what you should be concerned about in terms of your drinking water and your water quality. We do action. We don't do it this month because it's a little too miserable, but we do litter cleanup on the second Saturday of every month. And when it's a little bit more pleasant outside, we go paddling together, because why would you care about the river if you don't get out on the river and actually see it? So those are kind of the big things that we do. It's a little quiet here during the winter, but rest assured we are well steaming forward on our advocacy work. This is one big thing that we're working on right now, which I'm excited for y'all to learn a little bit more about it. But even though it's a little bit quiet around here right now, rest assured we are fighting for the river well into the new year. We're ready to go. It never stops.
What is your name?
Oh, my name is Morgan Hooks. I'm the Outreach and Engagement Manager. So I host these seminars once a month. You also might see me out at our community events, our fundraisers, and just out talking to the community. So I'm more than happy to speak with anyone here today and just hear why you care about the Cape Fear River, what brought you out today. If you're interested in being involved as a volunteer or Cape Fear River Watch member, I can help you get set up with that. But I also want to take some time to recognize the people in the crowd today, so thank you to all the new faces. I also want to say, if there are any board members of Cape Fear River Watch, do you mind standing up for a second? So, yes. One's already standing, but. And I also want to recognize, because I see a lot of them, our elected officials in the crowd today. Do you mind standing up? We really appreciate y'all being here and hearing the community and hearing about our concerns and, of course, the important work that CFPUA is doing. That's my spiel. Thank you again for coming. If you did not get any pancakes, please take them with you. And also, one last thing, since we are not at the moment having a public hearing about the IBT and the Lower Cape Fear, we have some postcards on the table right where you put your dirty dishes. Feel free to fill one out with any concerns that you have that you'd like to share with NCDEQ, and we'll send it to DEQ for you. We'll cover the postage and everything. Just grab one, write whatever you'd like to say. There's also a suggested script on the poster right next to it if you need some ideas of what to tell NCDEQ, but this is a good time to get your public comment in. If you prefer to email it, it also has the email address listed there, and you can send that anytime through April 1st. But take what you learned today about the IBT if it really bothers you, if you're really concerned about it, and you're really upset that NCDEQ has not allowed our area to have a public hearing about this, feel free to make your comments. But without further ado, this is Kenneth Waldroup with CFPUA. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Morgan. Good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. It's so good to be here. And it's so good to have an opportunity to talk to you about your utility and about our river that we're all working together to protect. So I have a fantastic presentation. Cammie, raise your hand. Cammie did all the hard work. So thank you, Cammie, for putting it together. I also have my Deputy Executive Director, Beth Eckers. So if I can't catch any of the questions, these ladies will absolutely find everything and fix it for me, right? All right. So let's talk a little bit about CFPUA. For our agenda today, I want to describe where we get our drinking water. And I think it's self-evident, but it's an amazing system. If you're not familiar with it, we're going to introduce it to you. Then we're going to talk a little bit about a threat to our drinking water system and how you can help us educate decision makers in Raleigh about that threat. Then if we have time, we'll move from the drinking water side of the house to the wastewater side of the house and talk about the single most important, largest project that we've ever done. But let's stay on the water side for now. So, Cape Fear Public Utility Authority. We're 18 years in, created in 2007, 2008. We opened our door. We serve 200,000 plus folks in New Hanover County. All of the city of Wilmington, proudly serving Wrightsville Beach now as our newest set of customers, and a large part of unincorporated New Hanover County. We are a not-for-profit special purpose unit of local government. We have an 11-member board. I've got some board members in here today. Thank you for your service. And those board members are appointed by our creating authority, either the city or the county. We're here for you. The sole reason we exist is to serve the customer. That's the whole purpose for CFPUA. We provide 7.5 billion with a B gallons of water to those 200,000 plus customers every year. 80% of the water that we drink comes from the Cape Fear River right outside the door. About 20% comes from groundwater. But because that groundwater has been contaminated by our upstream neighbor Chemours, you're going to slowly see us move away from groundwater usage over time. And we're going to become even more dependent on the Cape Fear River. We provide drinking water, we bring it right to your house, and when you're done with it, we collect it, and we take it to one of two treatment facilities. The Northside plant, which is up next to the airport, and then the Southside plant, which is down below the ports. So we have 1,200 miles of water line pipe. To put that in perspective, if we pulled it out of the ground and laid it end over end, it stretched from here to Dallas, Texas. And we've got the same amount, roughly, of wastewater, where we collect it and bring it from your homes to a place where we can treat it and then safely discharge it into the estuary. So I like to say that we are environmentalists in our business. We care very much about the environment because that's part of our job. So where do we get our water from? We're just one utility that takes advantage of the last good location on the Cape Fear River to take water out. That's at Lock and Dam number 1 up at Kings Bluff. And we're one of 3 utilities that utilize that location. We have, in the back of the room, we have the utility director for the Lower Cape Fear Water and Sewer Authority. Tim, raise your hand. So Tim and his staff distribute raw water to Brunswick County and to Pender County and to New Hanover County. We also have, Chris, raise your hand. We also have the Deputy Director of Water Resources from our sister utility, Brunswick County, in the room. So we serve together about 500,000 people that depend on the Lower Cape Fear, taking water out of that last good location. We've been utilizing that location since the 40s. So this is a graphic of the raw water system that serves all of us. So we get our water from both the Lower Cape Fear Water and Sewer Authority and a legacy system that we inherited from the city of Wilmington. So that water comes out of the Cape Fear, it's pumped through a 48-inch pipe for about 25 miles. Is that the right number I'm thinking about? And it's an extremely large system. And Brunswick County, Pender County, we have some industries on 421 that also take water. And a wonderful thing is happening right now. We're paralleling that raw water line. It's a $60 million project, of which $53 million was given to us by our delegation from Raleigh. So it's an amazing project that's going on right now, and we're all benefiting from that parallel project for now and into the future. Not only do we have a parallel project underway, we have that legacy system that we inherited from the city, and some of that pipe is over 100 years old. That's why we're moving so fast to parallel the lower Cape Fear system, because that pipe is not going to last forever. That 100-year-plus old pipe has got to go out. So this is a diagram of how we get our drinking water in the lower Cape Fear. If you go up there, it's a wonderful place to visit. It's gorgeous. We have 2 pumping facilities, one that's owned by the Lower Cape Fear Water and Sewer Authority, one that's owned by CFPUA. They're side by side. And right up here is Lock and Dam number 1. That's the last best spot on the Cape Fear River to acquire clean drinking water. During times of drought, you get saltwater intrusion that it actually comes all the way up to the bottom of Lock and Dam number 1. So that's the best location in our region for our drinking water. So that drinking water is currently under threat. What kind of threat? Well, we have problems with pollution that we can come back and talk to you about. We have our neighbor Chemours upstream and others who discharge contaminants of emerging concern that we have to address. But we also have a problem with quantity. How much water can the Cape Fear provide the entire state? And there is a process where a local government or a utility can actually ask for water from our river and take it and permanently use it somewhere else. It's called the Interbasin Transfer rule. It's been in effect since the 80s. And essentially what happens is a utility can come along and they can ask for our water, and they can permanently remove it if we don't stand up and make our voices heard. So we actually have an interbasin transfer request going on right now, and that's with the town of Fuquay-Varina. So Fuquay-Varina is part of the megaplex that is the Triangle and the Triad region. All of those utilities up there told us about 2 months ago that they need somewhere between 50 and 150 million gallons of new water supply from somewhere. And Fuquay-Varina was the first at the door, knocking on our door, asking to take from us 6.17 million gallons per day. To put that in perspective, that is more than 12 Olympic swimming pools a day that they would like to take and permanently remove from our river, use it, and discharge it in the Neuse River Basin. And we, as a utility, we've been working with our peers at Brunswick County, Pender County, Lower Cape Fear to express our concern about that request. Because water is an amazing thing, if you think about it. Water is one of those few things that you can borrow and return, right? And that's what we really want all of our neighbors upstream to think about, is if you're going to use the water, borrow it, but return it to us so we can use it ourselves downstream. That's the basic message of this whole presentation. And we're in the middle of a formal process where we are commenting about that critical item. So 5 years ago, Fuquay-Varina announced that they wanted to acquire our water and permanently transfer it. And we asked for their documents 3 years ago. We didn't get them. We finally, through a public records request, received the 2,000 pages that they've been working on for the last 5 years, 1 week before the hearing opened up. So we have been working diligently with our outside resources to try to read those 2,000 pages and understand what's being said there. We have 5 months to respond to that document that they had 5 years to put together. So that's the first problem. Luckily, though, the Environmental Management Commission did give us some extra time. It was only going to be 90 days to review. They gave us 2 more months. But they haven't given us the thing that we want most, which is a public hearing here in the lower region. You had to travel 2 hours one way. I know that for a fact because I've seen some people in the room that had to do it. The closest hearing that they had was in Fayetteville. And we haven't had our chance to speak about this problem. So one of the things we hope you will do is that you'll let your voice be heard through the public comment process. Take one of the cards in back and express your concern about not getting your voice heard and not getting an opportunity to speak in your home community about somebody taking your water. But we have till April 1st to completely review this document, and we're learning quite a bit as we go through it. One of the things that we're learning is there appears to be a declining trend in terms of water coming down the river. The river is seeing less water over time. We can see it clearly from the study that they've done. And that's concerning to us. Where's that water going? Why are we getting less water than we did years ago? Part of that has to do with drought. Part of that probably has to do with upstream urbanization. Part of it probably has to do with rapid farming growth. But what I need to communicate to you is the river has less water today than it did years ago. And it's a trend. And we're learning more as we walk through this document. So what's at stake? If Fuquay-Varina gets their way, they will permanently remove 6 million gallons of water from our river every day and discharge it somewhere else. And that has a serious impact on us in terms of drought, because they don't just need the water when it's raining, right? They need the water when it's not. So our biggest concern is this is the camel's nose under the tent, is the old saying, right? They want 6, but somebody else is going to come right behind them and ask for 10 or 20 or 150. So we have to have our voices heard and share with the leaders in Raleigh the importance of borrowing and returning the water instead of permanently taking it. We have real threats, not only to our drinking water supply, but to the wildlife that depends on the river. So this is an organization that was created for the purpose of protecting this wonderful resource, this community resource. So this is right in our wheelhouse together. So we need to work together to communicate our needs. I love this slide because this is a slide that tells you that everybody in the region believes that this is a problem. If you look at the names on that slide, you typically don't see those folks in the room together holding hands. But they're united behind the idea that this is not a good thing. And we thank our friends here for helping lead that charge. So far, no public hearing. I encourage you at the end of the presentation to make your voice heard, and hopefully, we'll get a chance to have a public hearing. But if not, then I guess we'll see them in court. I'd rather not solve the problem in court. We'd rather solve it in the process by borrowing and returning the water. So, next steps. The public comment period ends April 1st. Here's where you can make your voice heard. We're going to make sure this presentation goes out to anybody who wants to use that email. That's a very nice lady. She'll take your email all day long. So, that's the drinking water side of the house. Let me talk to you a little bit about the wastewater side of the house. CFPUA, we have $1 billion worth of infrastructure that we all collectively own. That's all that water line in the ground. That's that brand new water treatment plant that treats PFAS and removes it. It's a fantastic community resource. If we were going to replace all of that infrastructure tomorrow, it actually would cost us $6.5 billion. So that should tell you how depreciated and how old some of our infrastructure is. One of the oldest pieces of infrastructure that we have is the Southside Wastewater Treatment Plant. It was constructed in the early 70s, and all of the wastewater that our community produces is treated at one of two locations, Northside and Southside. Northside was completely renovated in the early 2000s. Well, the single most expensive project that we've ever taken is the replacement of the Southside Wastewater Treatment Plant. We're in the middle of, we got 70% design documents right now for that replacement. So Northside treats up to 16 million gallons a day. Southside treats 12. When we replace it, we're actually going to add a little capacity there and bring it up to 16. And how big a project is this? It's generational. This is a generational project. You very rarely have the privilege or opportunity to replace some of this infrastructure. So what I like to say is our grandparents and our great-grandparents gave us this gift of infrastructure. And it's now our turn to replace it and give it to our children and our grandchildren. So you can see the plant went in place in '72. That's 53 years ago. What's the average age of a wastewater treatment plant? 50 years. So it's time to replace them. And it's not just because the plant is old, which is true. We've spent about $12 million over the last 10 years keeping it running. But we also need to support orderly growth. So if we don't replace this plant, we're going to have a problem for our existing customers and our future customers. And we need to do something by the year 2030. So we're right in the middle of doing all the work necessary to design, and then we had a groundbreaking, November. This is a big project. This is a really big project. How big is it? This is the old plant right here. This is a computer graphic of the new facility. This new facility is probably going to be a $400 million project. $400 million on one project. We're actually spending in a 10-year period about $1.2 billion. And this is 40% of all of our spending, if you really think about it. We hope to bring to our board the last contract amendment for, we hope, will be a $400 million project. It could be more. In May, or actually what I heard yesterday is maybe it's going to be June when the board is ready to look at that. So it's a really important project to us, and we've been blessed as a community to have this resource, but also have the support of our delegation. So our delegation to the General Assembly has lobbied on our behalf. We've received $175 million worth of low-interest loans. I just saw we signed a loan document for something in the 2% range, which is wonderful. That's money that's saved, that doesn't have to come out of our pocket. And again, a lot of that is because our delegation has been so vocal in supporting our needs. If we're lucky, it'll be a $400 million project or less. We've got to pay for that project somehow. Nothing's for free, even with the blessings from our delegation. which has brought in probably, I think we ran the numbers, it was more than $200 million over the last 5 years that the delegation has helped bring to our community. But even so, we're spending $1.2 billion. So right now, the average water and sewer bill is about $80. If we don't find some alternatives, a lower cost, that bill is probably going to rise to $115 a month. And we're doing everything in our power as your staff to find ways to avoid that. One of the things we're doing is we're actually actively investing some of our precious funds in northern New Hanover County to support growth. Because we're a little bit like an insurance pool, right? Growth is actually a good thing for our utility. Growth has its problems. I'll acknowledge that. But for this water and sewer utility, growth is good. So we're investing some of our precious dollars there. We are trying to bring our neighbor Chemours to the table, kicking and screaming. We are in a court case with them. Chemours, we believe, rightfully owes this community $250 million. And we'll acquire it, either at the negotiation table or in the court of law. If we're fortunate, that funding will come available before some of these high costs come forward. So we're also working very diligently to minimize the operational cost of our facility. So we constantly have staff that are looking to save money. Again, we don't want this to occur, but this is what is going to occur if we don't have other solutions, because we have to replace our infrastructure. Our grandparents gave us this infrastructure, and it's time to give the same gift to our grandchildren. So, this project is a generational project. It will decrease likelihoods of sewer spills. That new plant will actually produce a better quality of what we call effluent. So this new plant is going to have a higher standard of the water it discharges to the estuary. So we're going to improve the environment. We're reusing space that will save us some money in the future. We're going to take the old plant offline, and we're going to look at it real closely and see is there something there that we can recover and renew for the future. And this literally supports not just the community as it exists today, but the community as it will exist tomorrow. So, those are the two topics. If you take anything away, remember that borrowing water and returning it is good. Permanently removing it is bad. We encourage you to speak on the topic. And if you have a chance, thank your local community leaders for their foresight in investing in our community's future by replacing this older wastewater treatment plant with something that's going to be better for all of us. So those are the two takeaways. Questions?